Hi guys, this is Ryan Meister at Activity Based Supplies. What we're going to go over today is a few how-to and common problems people have with the start gate, with the brake gate. It's going to be a quick checklist for you to check anytime you have some slight issues. So, number one is, I don't know if you can hear that, it's a slight humming. So when this transformer, and it's just like the lights in the ceiling, or if you have ever heard a light on a pole, as it kind of warms up a little bit, it will hum. It's just part of the mechanics. That is common, and it is normal, and it is fine. So you don't have to worry about that. Although I would, as you see here, I would unplug it when you're not using it. And I'm not talking about in between races or anything like that. If you just got done racing today and you're not going to be racing again until tomorrow, go ahead and unplug it. If you're going to lunch and you're going to race when you get back, go ahead and unplug it. If it's, I would say anywhere between 10 minutes between races, it's not a bad idea, unplug it. The unit's going to last longer. Now we've had people call in with a unit looking for a cable or firing handles, and the unit was over 15 years old. So this unit will last a long time if it's taken care of. Now he had to dust it off and all that kind of stuff, but everything worked just fine. He just needed the cable. So first things first, before you plug it in, do make sure green goes to the start gate, make sure it's plugged in. Make sure, and it's not on mine, I'm going to go ahead and do the video, but make sure you guys tighten these up. There's a screw on top and bottom. And then if we come to the brake gate, there's a red one. Red means stop, green means go. That's the best way to think of it. So, and same thing, tighten these screws up. Don't over tighten them, but you do snug them up. Step two would be your firing handles. Go ahead and plug them both in. I have had times where everything was plugged in but the firing handles, and it would automatically start counting, and the pins, every time I would reset them here, would go ahead and register again. So to save yourself a little time and headache, go ahead and plug those in before you plug in your start gate. So right now, and the third thing is this Christmas tree. This is what says pretty much goes from green, yellow to, or from red, yellow to green, and tells you to start. This is actually tucked in this piece right here. This is one of the most common calls we get, is it didn't come with a Christmas tree. And it's understandable because it's hidden under here. But I'm just telling you now, if you look back here, you'll see this thing wrapped in bubble wrap tucked in there. And if you find your bag in your box, you'll find the screws and nuts to attach it. So with that connected, and our cord connected at both ends, and our firing handles connected, I am now going to plug it in. Okay, and you'll see it's reading some numbers, it's reading the light. This light here is whenever the car goes through the brake gate, there's two eye sensors there that's going to trigger this and tell it stop the timer. Same here. So I'm going to reset that. Now we're at 0, and the best way to check these is with your staging off and your thing on your mode on dual. What these do, so your mode, if you want to use this, the mode is what does this firing handle turn on, or what does it start, and what does this one. So on dual, either one of these is going to kick both pins and start both cars and start both timers. On individual, it's one at a time. So I always keep them on dual when I'm doing any sort of troubleshooting. And then as I reset, those are going to reset. I can pull the pins back, and I'm ready for another race. So I'm down and down. What staging would do is turn on our Christmas tree lights. Okay, so you saw they went red, yellow, green. So that last green dot means go, and that is when if you had this on individual and you guys both wanted to race and you wanted to go off the lights, you would go up for staging on, and up for individual. That means whenever I press this left firing handle, the left one's gonna fire. Whenever I press the right one's gonna fire. So that is how you race with a reflex. So the problem is, and it's not a problem, it's actually a pretty cool feature. If whoever's racing starts too early, you see that bottom red light? That means they defaulted. And so it keeps people from pushing the button too early and make sure that everyone gets an even start at green. And now, so if the right guy went ahead and win, his car would launch and he would go and he would beat the left guy just because he waited until the light was green. Okay, so for creating a car and all this kind of stuff, you want the aerodynamics to speak for itself. So I always keep them down and let the cars do the work for me. I don't want my car to default when it's a really fast car just because I hit the button half a second early. But a lot of people do, and that reflex is actually pretty fun. It's just if you got a one shot at it and you guys only have one CO2 cartridge per kid, I would keep it on dual and staging off. That way everyone gets a nice fair race. If you have lots of CO2 cartridges, the reflex is a really fun feature. All right, so let's say I open this up and there's a problem. Like right now, there isn't one, and you see everything's 0, 0, no lights are on, everything's fine. But let's say there is a problem, something isn't working, and I want to do I want to go through this checklist of what's right and what's wrong. Patrice, would you help me for a moment? What I'm going to have her do is right in between these brake gates, you'll see there's a light sensor there. And there's a sensor here, and those have to connect. And when that is broken, that's what stops the timer, and that's what kicks on these red lights that we're about to test. So there's one on each side. So there's a right lane, or lane 1 and a lane 2. And what you'll see is no lights are on, and everything's working fine. So Patrice, go ahead and put your hand in lane 1, the right one. So you'll see that turn the light on. That means that lane is working and those eyes are lined up. To check lane 2, we're going to reset it and go ahead and put your hand in lane 2. And that light turned on. So if you're having any issues at all, that's the first step. Make sure your cords are hooked up, firing handle's plugged in, both things are down, hit reset, and then check lane 1, go ahead and do it again. Light turned on, and check lane 2, go ahead. And because we didn't reset it, that light was already on, so go ahead and do it one more time. And that turned on. Okay, so that's the first thing you check. If that's working, if both lanes are working, both eyes are lined up, and you know that the brake gate is communicating with the start gate and everything is working like it should. So we're just gonna act like we're doing a real race here for a second and show you guys how this should work. So before I hit reset, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure these two are pulled back. That's another common one. You just gotta remember to pull those two back in between each race. Okay, and now I'm gonna hit the reset to clear. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit, because we're on dual and staging off, either one of these I can hit and it's gonna start the race. So I'm gonna hit this, both cars started. Now go ahead and pick a winner, Patrice. So you see that timer stopped, and go ahead and do the other one. And that timer stopped. Now if all that's working, your track is working correctly. So that would be the first things to check. If you have any other questions, give us a call. We'll be glad to help. Thanks for watching, guys.